Hey everybody, welcome to the Lesser Saints Discord, your one and only pre-show to the YouTube Saints. Welcome back. I'm Jables,
Greetings.
joined here, as always, with Rimshee.
Hello, everyone. All 5 of you right now. I
Yeah.
guess technically 2 of those are us, so
Yeah.
maybe 3.
I don't think it counts, because I'm on the creator live streams page, so
Okay,
I don't
that's
think it
fair.
counts that.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, Discord news.
Discord. Yes. So we have a town hall tomorrow. Since almost no one's here, I'm going to probably send the boys a super chat, or more accurately, a labs on this. Yeah. I'm going to send a Streamlabs on this to the boys so that we can get the word to as many people as possible. But, yeah. Be there at the town hall tomorrow. It'll be 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And what was... 4 o'clock Pacific Standard and 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
It's just 4 plus 3, man.
Yeah.
Also, reminder, you're sending money to the boys during their show. Try to use Streamlabs. I think Jeff might have gotten it fixed so you don't have to use PayPal, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll see.
Quit giving Google your money. Nice.
Also, as a quick follow-up on the town hall, we do have the town hall text up. Yes, I have noticed people posting stuff that is highly unrelated. It has been removed. But if you have something that you actually want to be brought up during the town hall, or at least brought to the mod's attention, perfectly fine to leave it in the town hall text.
Yeah, especially if you're not going to be there and available at that time. Oh, that's right. Nick's streaming right now, that fucking asshole. Yeah. So, Rimshee, you want to get into the first article, and I'm gonna send a little super chat to Nick real quick.
Sure, we can move over to that. This first article is, let's just say it's a little weird. Angry mutant green crab on a path of destruction, scientists warn. A species of crab known for its bad attitude has evolved into an insanely aggressive brute, wreaking havoc on beachfronts, scientists warn. Oh, cool.
Yeah. These crabs
Although
are vicious.
in that video, that is one full egg pouch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Good.
Green crabs have long been known for their bad attitude, but a new mad-as-hell variant of the species is on the move and destroying everything in its path. Scientists
They're fucking
warn.
shit up, man.
Fuck shit up! Surprisingly, the furious crustaceans are from famously friendly Canada and are better suited to the ice hockey rinks than to the calm shores of Maine. On America's East Coast, where large clusters have been found. Oh, I think this is potentially the one time that we could get a lot of people okay with Hold on.
Oh. He's in trouble, guys.
No.
He's up for Rimshee. He
That
might be
was
dying.
that's dinner.
No, okay.
I think it'd be okay to see people hit these crabs with hockey sticks. Try and make a goal. Green crabs from Nova. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say keep reading, and that might be what people have to do. So.
Green crabs from Nova Scotia are the same species as their Maine cousins, but infinitely more bad-tempered. threatening to accelerate harm to the coastal ecosystem by gobbling up soft-shelled clams and destroying native eelgrass. The docile green crabs shrink from a threat, while the newcomers are more apt to wave their pincers and charge. What we're seeing is the insane level of aggressiveness, University of New England professor Marcus Frederick told AP.
Yeah, what you're wait, in Pokemon terms, this is a level 3 Krabby with an aggression trait.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wasn't getting a fax. I'm not that old, Bill. The angry crab variant originated in northern Europe and is hardier and better suited to colder water than their gentle cousins, which originally come from southern Europe. Green crabs, even the docile ones, are considered a scourge that can devour soft-shelled and juvenile clams. They can destroy eelgrass that provides a hiding place for juvenile sea creatures. But the Canadian crab takes it to a new level, and I'm guessing this is a green crab. This is, I would assume, a green crab. Yeah.
It's
Louise Logan, a University of New England graduate student, had an unprecedented task of labeling the crabs captured from Nova Scotia waters for the research. The crabs were in no mood for games. Were they? At a distance of 1.5 meters, the pint-sized brutes, which measure 10 to 12 centimeters across, assuming a fighting posture. Those that grabbed him were in no hurry to let go. Anytime I went down to grab one, I'm sorry, I heard every time I went down and my mind went places. Every time I went down to grab one, they went to grab me instead, he wrote in an email. One of them, in particular, would jump out of the water in its frenzy to attack. In the lab,
Stop it. Sniff it.
Now I'm starting to imagining these crabs as Jewish. Jewish doctors talking about vasectomies.
Oh, man.
And circumcisions. In the lab, researchers unleashed both types of crabs on a bed of eelgrass in a saltwater pool, and the difference was stark. The Canadian invaders shredded the eelgrass like Edward Scissorhands in their efforts to scarf down marine organisms seeking refuge, Professor Frederick said. The first...
Oh. Okay. I was just thinking that maybe they are Jewish crabs, and they were just snipping because that guy was uncircumcised. That's why they're jumping out after him so hard.
The first round of study focused on 200 crabs from Canada and will be published in coming months. Professor Frederick said further study will focus on whether a species' gene plays a role in the aggressiveness or if a factor called hybrid vigor is in play.
Yeah, the hybrid vigor. I've been hearing about that a lot lately. Mostly because of Tim Pool.
Yeah. The hybrid vigor theory suggests that crabs could be more aggressive as they establish themselves, but will mellow out later. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The quarrelsome... Go ahead.
One more thing.
I'm just gonna get this video in shot.
Yeah. Another thing that I was thinking about is, like, since they were so adamant about just taking down all that eelgrass, maybe, just maybe, the crabs learned how to play Zelda. Just a thought.
Gotta get all them rupees.
Yep.
The quarrelsome newcomers currently comprise only about 2 to 3% of green crabs crawling on the ocean floor off Maine. But those numbers are certain to grow, Frederick said. It will be an entirely different ball game, he predicted. It's just a question of when more of the crabs come and outcompete the Maine green crab. The docile green crabs have been around for more than a century in New England waters, but they've emerged as a major problem as the Gulf of Maine has warmed. The feistier crabs arrived off Nova Scotia in the 1980s, and currents brought their larvae southward to New England waters. Eventually, the newcomers will move farther southward. We can't do anything about it, he said. The only thing that we can do is learn how to live with it. And that's the entire thing. And I disagree. I would suggest increase crab fishing. Even if the meat's no good.
Get some good old boys from Louisiana. They can make anything taste good. So, just ship them up, have them go to town.
Get the Creole out there.
No, I'm saying I'm just gonna go out there and get all those green crab.
No, that's too audible. That's too understandable for it to be Creole.
Oh, sorry. Is that better? Yeah. So green crabs are fucking shit up all over the place. That sounds jumping out at you.
That sounds normal.
Snip your dick. Yeah. Nobody likes crabs. Always calls her bad.
What would your mother think?
I don't know. She's not watching right now, I think. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I can say about that. Like, get some people from Louisiana, Creole people from Louisiana up there. Just tell them, free reign, go for it.
Yeah,
Get
make sure it's not poisonous first. But then once you verify, hell, even then, I'm sure they'd find something.
They'd find a way.
Oh, translated, it'd probably be something like, "Oh, the poison makes for a wonderful spice. Let's add it to the gumbo."
No, they'll be making like crab claw necklaces.
Oh yeah, no. Here's what you do. You say, "Yeah, come on up. You can have free reign of as many green crab as you can catch, as long as you toss every other crab back. You don't need to pay for a license." Or anything like that. Just as long as you're not catching any other crab, you're golden.
Yeah. And I mean, once you aren't catching any anymore, then it's time to go home, because they are probably all gone.
Well, if you're not catching any, you're definitely still at the bar.
It didn't say that they were fast breeding, though, either, so that's a...
Yeah, but if they're aggressive, I don't know what their bedroom antics look like.
Yeah, maybe they're like rabbits. But rabbits aren't aggressive. Except for that one.
Alright. Let's move on to this next one. And yeah, you go ahead and read this one.
Yeah, this one's all about equality. How equality is shaping up. Aberdeen, Maryland shooting. 3 dead after a woman opens fire at Rite Aid facility. Shoots self. Alright. This one's a sad one. That's why we started off with the crabs. 3 people were shot dead and another 3 were injured after an employee opened fire at a Rite Aid distribution center in Maryland on Thursday morning, law enforcement officials said. The incident in Aberdeen, about 30 miles from Baltimore, ended when the shooter, Snochia Mosley, 26, shot herself in the head. She later died at the hospital. Mosley of Baltimore was a temporary employee who reported to work as usual around 8 a.m. and started shooting about an hour later. It makes me want to know what happened within that hour. She began
I
outside
don't.
the Rite Aid. It is a Rite Aid. You never know. She began outside the Rite Aid facility, then moved into the building, Hartford County Sheriff Jeffrey R. Goller said. 2 of the victims died at the scene, 1 died at the hospital. According to police, the 3 additional victims who were wounded were hospitalized but were expected to survive. Well, they'll most likely survive. That's good.
That is good.
Yeah, Guller said investigators are still working to determine a motive. He said he didn't know how well the victims and shooter knew each other, but they likely had some previous interaction because it was not her first day. Oh, she was gunning down employees, not like customers or anything. Shit.
Still not
Okay.
good.
Yeah. The FBI office in Baltimore and special agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms have bring those status. We're also assisting with the investigation. The shooter was armed with a 9mm Glock, which was registered in her name, and several magazines. Why did they put several magazines in quotes?
Well, probably because that's what was actually told to them, and they don't have an exact number. They don't want to be like, oh, da 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 da, and get called out by everyone else being told, oh yeah, no, you're full of shit, because that's not what was actually there. They're trying to stay as far away from being factually inaccurate as possible. But I do notice that they're using correct terminology at least.
Well, yeah. Well, they're quoting the sheriff, or
Yeah.
the junior sheriff, or whatever. Yeah, the county sheriff. They're quoting the sheriff. Of course, he's going to use proper terminology.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people think that cops should be the only ones with firearms because they're better trained than your average individual. In all honesty, your average gun enthusiast, such as myself, will spend a lot more time. Well, I mean, I don't actually fall as much into this category because there isn't an easily accessible range near me, and I'm in California, so yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
But like if I could go like down the street to a range, I'd spend more time practicing. People think that cops have all this time. They are literally paid to go to the range. No,
No.
I don't think that they're paid to. I know they're not paid to go to the range unless they're doing testing or something.
Yeah. But they do have mandatory occasional testing.
Yeah, they have mandatory
Proficiency.
occasional proficiency testing, basically saying, can you shoot the broadside of a barn at 2 feet? I'm exaggerating. I am exaggerating, admittedly, but that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Hell, people think that the military is much better trained than your average individual, but that's not exactly true either. Unless you're a grunt, generally the only branch that you'll touch a firearm in is the Marines. So if you're not infantry, you're generally not touching firearms, with the exception of the Marines. But even when you're in the Marines and not infantry, you generally do your once-a-year testing, and you don't get paid to go practice at the range. Well, I mean, I guess technically you do, because military is a kind of a 24/7 job. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Fun fact, gun enthusiasts and people with concealed carry license statistically commit less crime than even cops.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. Like, legitimately, too.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, yeah, sure. No, I believe it. Because, do you know how much it takes to get... We're getting off topic.
I do know. I don't know if the audience... We can get back to that after we're done with the article. Yeah. A statement from Rite Aid said that the company was working with authorities and would make grief counselors available to staff. Governor Larry Hogan tweeted early Wednesday that he was closely monitoring the situation, adding, "Our prayers with all those impacted, including our first responders. The state stands ready to offer any support." Okay.
That's good.
President Trump was briefed on the shooting, and we were monitoring. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told NBC News Thursday afternoon. 3 workplace active shooting attacks in just the last 24 hours should spark outrage in every American. Wait, there were 3? 3 different
This is the only one I've heard of.
Yeah, and I've only heard of this one because I was like page 5 deep on Google News. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, the incident comes one day after a heavily armed employee opened fire in the offices of a software company in Middleton, Wisconsin, injuring 4 people. At least nobody died on that one.
Okay, I'm gonna look that one up.
Also Wednesday, a man... Well, yeah, I'm gonna pop those articles open too, in case we want to cover them later. In the offices of a software company in Middleton, Wisconsin, injuring 4 people. Also Wednesday, a man opened fire in a municipal building in Pennsylvania and shot 4 people, including a police officer, before another officer shot and killed. No matter where you work, learn, play, or live, you have a right to feel safe, and I'm horrified that's no longer a reality in America. We could get into the whole an armed society creates a polite society thing.
Yeah. You know, I just looked up this other article. We can go over it real... It's about the same length if you want to go over it.
Sure. Yeah, you want to read through this one?
Yeah, sure. Let me pop it onto the screen. Alright.
Shooting central here tonight, I guess.
God damn. 4 injured in... 4 injured in shooting at Middleton, Wisconsin business. Gunman dead. Good. Police said that the gunman was WTS Paradigm, a software company. Whatever. Was heavily armed and that officers prevented significant further bloodshed. I'm curious. 4 people were injured, one of them critically, when a heavily armed employee opened fire Wednesday morning in the offices of a software company in Middleton, Wisconsin, authorities say. Police shot and killed the gunman, who hadn't been identified. Good. Middleton Police Chief Charles Folk, said police received a call from a shooting at 10:25 a.m., 11:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At a complex housing several businesses. The shooting occurred in the offices of WTS Paradigm, a business products software company, where officers engaged the suspect and he was shot by officers. University of Wisconsin Medical Center in Madison said that 1 patient was critically wounded and that 2 others were in serious condition. A 4th person was grazed by a bullet and suffered minor injuries, police said. The gunman was heavily armed with a lot of extra ammunition, Folk said. 2 Middleton police officers and 2 Dane County sheriff's deputies shot the man, who later died at a hospital, he said. Folk said it was clear that the officers prevented a lot more bloodshed from happening. The police chief said he couldn't identify the gunman pending notification of his family, but he said that the man was an employee and that it wasn't unusual for him to be there. No motive had yet been determined, he said. Judy Lammers, a business analyst for WTS Paradigm, told the Associated Press that she was at her desk when she heard the gunshots. She ran out of the building and hid behind a car. I'm not looking back. I'm running as fast as I can. You just wonder, do you hide or do you run? Lammers said. Lammers said a coworker had been grazed by a shot. Gabe Gieb, a customer advocate for another software company in the building, said he saw people running full sprint after the shots were fired. Governor Scott Walker tweeted that his office was closely following the situation. Let's just read through the tweet, because that's pretty much everything left in the article. Tonette and I are praying for those who were injured and for those who are caring for them at local hospitals. On behalf of a grateful state, I thank our outstanding first responders who acted decisively in the face of danger and stabilized the situation.
Okay, I just found an update article. 3 of the people that were seriously injured, they are upgraded from serious to fair condition.
Oh, that's good news.
In the hospital. Yep. So that means that they're more than likely to pull through.
Barring some absurd complications.
The headline of this article is the shooting suspect had gun permit revoked. So it's saying that
I can't pull that up because you haven't sent it to me.
Yeah, here. It's a pretty short one.
I'll just pull it up so we can see stuff, at least what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the suspect in a Wisconsin workplace shooting seriously injured 3 people this week, had his concealed carry permit revoked, and was unable to legally purchase a firearm. Yeah, so he had contact with the police in South Dakota in 2004 that involved a mental health issue. So that would be something that would revoke him from having his concealed carry permit and being able to purchase a firearm. And it says that they don't know where the 9mm semi-automatic pistol came from. They're trying to track it down where it came from. He bought it illegally.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, the bit about him having previously had a carry permit, concealed carry permit, that does surprise me a little, because that's uncommon.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was back in 2004. He's 43 years old, so 2004 would have been 29.
That's weird.
That's about the age when some people go a little crazy.
Yeah.
So, could have been a schizophrenia thing. A lot of people get schizophrenia in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah, that's the latest you really normally develop it.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't give me enough information.
Look at a beautiful mind.
Yeah. All right. So that's interesting.
That is interesting. Ultimately, what it boils down to is concealed carry permit holders who are currently holding the permit are exceedingly unlikely to commit crimes. In fact, I don't know that there's a statistic that says any of them commit crimes.
There is. They're just it's extremely unlikely.
That makes sense.
But that was he had contact with the police over a mental health issue. It wasn't necessarily he was committing a crime. He could have just been committing a disturbance, and they discovered a mental health issue.
Yeah.
So they revoked his right to concealed carry. Could have been a number of things.
Importantly,
okay.
It was revoked. But I mean, given the fact that you have to go through so many background checks.
Yeah, and I don't know enough of. They aren't giving me enough information.
Yeah, and no, Y2K. That doesn't mean more gun laws because no one died. They can't politicize and tragicize it.
Well, they also, on top of that, well, people did die when the woman shot up the Rite Aid, but I hadn't heard about it. I hadn't heard about any of these.
Well, that one's because it's a woman. This one they could have said that.
It was a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
This one was also a pistol, and it was an illegally bought firearm. And then this other one where the people were shooting outside the courthouse was... Let's see, what did he use? Wow. They really lengthened this one out.
No, they didn't, because it stops and they've got something about sexual assault as the next article. It's kind of short.
Well, no, it's kind of short, but they seem to make it kind of long.
Oh, they stretched it out.
Are you talking about the courthouse one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to find what he used, because I think I may have heard about this one briefly.
Okay, I'm gonna put this on screen. I really like this quote because I find it kind of funny. In a morbid sense, admittedly, but you could tell when the police started firing. Brown told the station there was a lot more gunfire at that point.
No shit. No, Y2KW, they're not going to find a way, because the thing is, these aren't being highly publicized, so nobody's going to get right up behind everybody else. So.
It may be publicized locally, but you're not going to see international gun laws trying to be pushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. Stupid always finds a way. Create a more idiot-proof society, and the universe will create a dumber idiot. I was gonna say a smarter idiot, but that's not the direction we're going.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. They're not saying what he used, so that makes me really... Unless if I'm missing it.
I have no idea, but we should probably move on to the next article.
Yeah.
The next actual article we had planned.
Yeah.
Alright, popping over. This one's all yours.
Yep. Because I have some issues. Ramsgate boys, 15, held over extreme right terror. Two 15-year-old boys have been arrested on suspicion of planning to carry out far-right terrorism offenses in Kent. Police said the pair, both from Ramsgate, were arrested at their home addresses on suspicion of preparing for terrorist attacks. Both of the teenagers are being questioned at a police station in the Southeast. The Southeast Counterterrorism Unit has confirmed the alleged offenses involved far-right ideology. I don't know what those...
Are they Adam Lofton?
Detective Superintendent Nigel Doak said, We treat the threat from the extreme right in exactly the same way as any other threat. Bullshit. He said the arrests were planned and intelligence led and there was no immediate threat to the public. We are committed to attacking any and all ideologies which pose a threat to the public's safety and security. Yeah, that's it. What kind of far-right extremism were they planning? No fucking idea. This article just says 2 15-year-old kids got arrested, possibly for sharing spicy memes.
Yeah.
This is the UK, so yeah.
I don't trust the narrative. I mean, if they had said Adam Lofton, okay, maybe. Because Adam Lofton is is the Antifa of the right, effectively.
Yeah. If they had,
It's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but good enough.
I mean, they could have just planned to be edgy boys and throw bacon on mosques. It's... Yeah, I don't trust this whole thing.
Yeah, it's not enough info.
No. And that's the problem that I have. Why post the article at all? Why not wait a couple days?
Well, they probably have more info, like, oh yeah, they were posting shit on the internet.
Yeah, edgy memes, probably. They're 15.
They were planning on destroying Article 13 proceedings by shitposting ungodly memes about Pepe. You know, the racist frog.
I did see a fake meme article the other day when I was looking for stuff and just going through, browsing Twitter and whatnot. There's a fake article going around that a guy was arrested for trying to smuggle 20 gigabytes worth of memes into Sweden.
That's not a joke. That actually happened.
And he's claiming it was just for personal use. And it's like it was a fucking funny article.
I'm so sorry, Cats.
Oh, what?
Oh,
I'm missing something.
Cats is from Germany. I'm sorry she has to deal with this shit.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I can send you some USB drives?
We'll send them by carrier pigeon.
Yeah. I don't know if a carrier pigeon can make it over the ocean. We'll figure it out.
Maybe we'll put it...
No, here's what I'll do.
We'll put it on the back of dolphins.
Brexit is happening, so Britain is leaving the EU. So I'll send it to Britain to like Leslie or something, and then he'll send it by carrier pigeon to you. That's what yeah, we got your back.
We got you, girl.
Yeah, yeah. So this is not journalism. This is two kids were accused of something, and they were arrested and brought in for questioning. And where this happened, it could have been spicy memes. It could have been blowing up a mosque. No fucking idea.
It could have been Adam Lofton.
I could have been throwing bacon at Muslims. Like, they're 15. I'd like to err on the side of them just being edgy and not being violent. They could have pulled a Lauren Southern and start passing out pamphlets that say Muhammad was gay.
Muhammad was gay. That's right, I said it. If you're Muslim, guess what? Muhammad was gay.
That's right. This is America. Fuck yeah. America.
Come find me, bitch. I need some target practice.
I'm staying out of it. I've pissed off enough people on the internet. I don't need to add something else to my list. Yeah.
Well, if you're just like a peaceful supporter, I'm sorry for the insult to the person you find to be your most valuable prophet. But if you're like with the group, if you're like with ISIS or any extremist group like that, go fuck yourself. Muhammad was gay.
Yeah. If you think he should face death for that joke, go fuck yourself.
I fear not the valley, for I am the shadow, motherfucker.
Isn't that a Marine bumper sticker? I think I've seen that before.
Yeah. I have a shirt that says that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I've seen it on a bumper sticker before. Oh, I think my buddy has that as a bumper sticker. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, how many Red Bull cans on your computer desk is too many?
How many have you drank in a single day?
How big is your desk?
Yeah. As long as you're doing less than 4 a day, you're not risking a heart attack, only kidney stones.
I'd say less than 3.
No, I'm saying the official numbers.
Yeah, but the official numbers get some leeway, and everybody's body is different. So
that's fair.
Less than 3.
But given that mullet he obviously has because of the hand-drawn picture,
I'm gonna get 7. He's drinking 7 a day. Here's another question. How many beer cans is too many to have on your desk?
What's too many?
Exactly.
Although, to be fair, like I said, I've said this before, I don't drink beer.
Yeah, I know. It's not a mullet, it's a skull. Doing the old Benjamin Franklin? Oh, I heard a funny thing about Benjamin Franklin today, actually. I was listening to this new podcast that my sister showed me, and apparently, back in the day, Benjamin Franklin was like had a competing almanac with this other guy, and so he predicted that the guy was going to die in 2 weeks in his almanac that he printed, and the guy didn't die, but Benjamin Franklin printed the guy's obituary anyway. And kept this going for like 5 years, saying that everything that he was writing and everything that he was printing in his old almanac was just the ghost of him, and he was just refusing to leave Earth, and just accusing his ghost of doing all the writing, and just like, this guy, see, when he was alive, he would have never said something like this, so it's obviously his ghost that's saying all these things. And kept that going on forever. And then the guy finally died, and he was like, good, I'm glad to see his ghost finally gave up and decided to move on. It's funny as shit. It was Twitter. It was like 1700s Twitter. And they were going back and forth, like, printing all sorts of nasty shit about each other. And apparently it was a huge thing with the printing presses, is that if you had access to a printing press, you would print out pamphlets, like, talking shit about other people.
Holy shit, it was Twitter.
Yeah.
We really aren't that much more evolved than they were back then.
No.
It just took longer back then.
Oh, no, they also were talking about, like hand-etched plates would be made to print on these pamphlets of images of, like, a demon with saggy tits shitting in the mouth of a guy that's dead in a canoe. Of the guy that they hated. Like, shit like that. It's Photoshop. Like, we've been memeing for centuries, guys. We just don't recognize it, and it's just a lot faster now.
Alright. Well, I mean, to be fair, getting a little off topic, but staying on Benjamin Franklin, he was a fucking horn dog.
Yeah. And he was fucking hilarious. Of course.
Fucking horn dog. Any chance he could get to get into a woman's knickers? Oh god, yeah. But then again, so are these octopus.
Careful with that word. You gotta really emphasize the CK in there.
Yeah, Nick-ers. Nick-ers. God damn it, Jails. But, I mean, I can't say that these octopus are too very different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice segue. Octopuses get strangely cuddly on the mood drug ecstasy. Quick correction. It's octopodes. Not octopuses. And no, it's not octopi.
Octopods.
Octopodes.
Octopugs.
Octopugs. Like, never mind, I'm not going to make that joke. The psychoactive drug known as ecstasy can make people feel extra loving toward others. And a study published Thursday suggests it has the same effect on octopuses. I wouldn't know anything about that. Octopuses are almost entirely antisocial, except when they're mating, and scientists who study them have to house them separately so they don't kill or eat each other. Think killing and eating each other is the same thing.
Well, no, because if you kill them, you don't necessarily have to eat them. But if you eat them, you could eat a part of them without killing them.
That's right, they grow shit back, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. However, octopuses, given the drug known as MDMA, or ecstasy, Molly, or a number of other slang terms, I didn't know any of those,
All
wanted to
right,
spend more
local
time
drug expert.
Wanted to spend time close to other octopuses and even hugged them. Aww. I was absolutely shocked that it had this effect.
Why?
This is my favorite part. Yeah, says Judith Punger, a neuroscientist at the University of Oregon who studies octopuses but wasn't part of the research team. Yeah, you were shocked that it had this effect. I don't...
Well, she studies octopods. She doesn't study MGMA or ecstasy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but being aware of its effects, I mean, I guess, like, different drugs affect different species differently and stuff. But overall, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, it has this effect on a lot of things. And also on this one. Okay. It's a pretty standard effect for that drug. I mean, I know nothing about that drug. The eight-legged invertebrates are separated from humans by more than 500 million years of evolution. Hunger says octopuses. Wow. Okay. Editors, do your job. This is NPR. I thought they'd have good editors. Jeez. Closest relatives are creatures like snails and slugs. And the brains have a host of strange structures that evolved on a completely different trajectory from the human path. Yeah, but MDMA is just... It increases, what are the feel-good endorphins? Serotonin? Melatonin? Serotonin. I forget. One or the other. The idea to test the drug's effect in octopuses came from Gold Dolan, a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins University. My lab has been studying MDMA for a long time, she says. And we have worked out a lot of neural mechanisms that enable MDMA to have these really, really profound pro-social effects. Yeah. I wonder if they just took it themselves and they were just like, can we just cuddle?
Well, no, here's another fun thing. Y2K. This sounds like a plot for some rather low-impact hentai. Studies. Things covered with tentacles while on drugs. Sure. Also Y2K. I'm gonna go study some pictures of Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Gold, my dude.
Pure 24 karat.
Dill got interested in octopuses a few years ago when scientists sequenced the full genetic code of a creature known as the California two-spot octopus. He got into hentai. That's why he got interested in octopuses. Octopodes. It turns out that octopuses and people have almost identical genes for a protein that binds the signaling molecule serotonin to brain cells. I got it right, serotonin. This protein is also the target of MDMA. So Dolan wondered how the drug would affect this usually unfriendly animal. Just because they have the protein, she says, doesn't mean that when MDMA binds to the protein, it's going to do anything what it does in a human or a mouse. Fair. Okay, maybe I was wrong in assuming that they shouldn't have been surprised. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. To find out, she and Eric Etzinger, a colleague working at Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole. They should have just spelt out Massachusetts. Woods Hole, Mass. Woods Hole, Mass. Oh. First trying to figure out how to give octopuses ecstasy. They put the hand-sized creatures in a beaker filled with seawater and MDMA so the octopuses could absorb the drug through the gills. Oh! You made them snort it, essentially.
Or
smoke it. Essentially the same as smoking it, I guess. Okay.
Except without the heat.
Yeah. The researchers started out with high doses of the... Don't start high! My advice to anybody that is thinking about taking drugs, I don't recommend that you do them, but if you are going to do them, start with half of what anybody's going to give you. Start with half. It's just a rule.
They looked like they didn't like it. They looked like they were freaked out. No shit!
They were just taking these postures of super hypervigilance. Yeah. They would sit in the corner of the tank and stare at everything.
Whoa,
I don't
dude.
think these people have ever taken this before. For one thing, you started with a really high dose. Not what you want to do, even for your own personal use.
Unless you are experienced, in which case starting with a high dose for someone else may be your wake-up coffee.
Yeah. Like somebody that's experienced and knows their limits, sure. Somebody that's inexperienced and doesn't know their limits, or doesn't know the limits of others, should start small. And it doesn't take much to get for MDMA to have an effect. I think, okay, if you're going to do, like, if you're going to test certain drugs on animals that have already been tested on people and been shown to be relatively, like, non-harmful in the first place, I think there should be a law that you have to experience that yourself so you get an idea of how much you give to the animals. Because they probably freaked the fuck out and all they wanted to do was hug and cuddle. And they couldn't do shit because they were stuck in this little jar by themselves and they were probably freaking the fuck out. It's not cool to do, man.
Why am I alone? Why am I alone?
I just want somebody here to hold me right now. I feel so good. Just pet me. Just hold me and pet me, please.
Just rub me, baby. Rub me, daddy.
Yeah. Rub me good. But lower door... Okay. They just stood at the corner of the tank and stared at everything. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, because they wanted out to be with somebody. If you had taken that octopus out of the water and you just held him in your hand and pet him, it would have become your best friend.
God damn it, Merc. Merc. In this story, researchers don't do necessary research before they conduct research. Good.
Yes. Yes, exactly. God damn. Oh.
True.
Told you I had much to say about this article. But lower doses, the sort a person might take. Maybe you should start it there, dumbass. Like, you're probably really smart in like your specific field, but.
Also, Merc. Also in this story, non-researchers surprised that a creature that took a drug that makes people snuggly and happy made the creature snuggly and happy.
Yeah. Oh, man. You're right on, Mark. Right on. The researchers knew from previous tests that an octopus would normally stay far, far away from the second octopus. That was confined to a small cage inside of the first one's tank. But an octopus on MDMA would get up close and personal with the new neighbor. Yeah, hey, you want to talk? You want to start a business? Hey, how's it going, man? They spent significantly more time in the side of the tank, the chamber, that had the other octopus in it, says Dolan. What's more, without the drug, any octopus that approached the stranger at all would remain very reserved, perhaps only reaching out one arm to tentatively touch the other animal's cage. After MDMA, they were essentially hugging, says Stone, who explains that the octopuses were really just much more relaxed and postured, and using a lot more of their body to interact with the other octopus. To her, the results published in the journal Current Biology show that serotonin has been encoding social functions for a very, very long time. At least 500 million years ago, it started doing this function. Every time you hug somebody or give them a high five, that contact gives you a bit of a serotonin boost. It helps in our development of social creatures. Just say it. Zachary Mainin, a neuroscientist at the Campo Amado Center for the Unknown in Portugal, points out that some research done decades ago showed that giving extra serotonin to lobsters can alter their social behavior. Increasing serotonin in just about any animal will change their you're changing the chemicals in the animal's body. Of course it's going to change your social behavior.
Changing the chemicals in its brain, especially.
Yeah, god damn. Specifically, brain's part of the body. Specifically, Maiden explains if you give them more serotonin, they become more dominant. A small lobster given serotonin will become more aggressive, socially dominant lobster. It's that lobster hierarchy. Why do they always come back to lobsters?
It's like the lobsters.
He says MDMA, which affects the serotonin system, clearly affects the octopus's social behavior. But it's not clear to him if it's really inducing greater love for another creature. Is it really affection? How would we know? It's totally fascinating and super suggestive, but I am not 100% convinced that this is doing the same thing in octopus and in human. No, it's not. Take the drug yourself, goddammit.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't just go off the research, go through the experience yourself. It's actually one of the safer drugs to take in the first place. Especially since you seem to have access to the pure shit. You'll be fine. Just don't take as much as you were trying to dose the octopus with. Like, take a much smaller amount. Still, he thinks it's amazing that the drug's somewhat similar behavioral effects. I like the fact that they've shown that a species so alien to us as an octopus has a molecule, its serotonin transporter, which can be affected by a drug which affects us, and that the drug has somewhat similar effects on the octopus. It just shows how much we don't know, how much there is to understand. Okay. Maiden. Take the drug yourself. Figure it out. See, one thing that I've noticed
scroll
by
up
other
the
people...
octopus picture. Go ahead.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed is that, no, it's not real love and affection for other people. It's definitely a drug that's making you feel that way. However, because you're on the drug that is making you feel that way, you become very honest and outspoken with the people around you. And you start sharing a lot about yourself, and you'll generally end up sharing stories with each other to a point where you actually become really good friends afterwards. And it creates a real bond that you can carry on after the whole experience because you know so much about each other. It's not that it creates this thing that lasts forever. It creates a scenario in which you can create a lasting friendship, which is weird to say, but it's essentially a truth serum. Let's just put that out there. Get two people high as fuck on MDMA, sit them in a room together, they'll talk until they come down. And they might even fuck. But, yeah. Who knows? Oh no, Fran, man, you don't need to explain the lobsters. We know all about the lobsters. You can drag them in if you want.
All right.
Okay. Free flow. It's just a pre-show.
Oh, what?
So
We're not friends,
do.
apparently. That's bullshit.
Oh,
Let's fix that
Fran
right
man.
now.
Yeah, Fran man, jeez. We made some of our transitions.
Send
For all
friend
of them.
request. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he made all. I think he made all of our transitions.
Yeah, he did.
Oh well, fuck off. Now you're never getting on the show. Fuck it. All right. Nah, delete him as a friend now if he accepted your friend request.
No, not yet.
Okay. We have some very serious news for the UK. If you want to delve into that a bit.
Yeah. I mean, if high as fuck, octopi are not your cup of tea, well, guess what? Internet regulators regulator considered for UK. Joy. Yeah, you do, sure.
Yeah, you go.
All right. Let me just the UK. God damn it. The UK government is considering all options, including a regulator, as part of new legislation governing the internet. Or something, I don't know. It has previously said it will publish a white paper in the coming months, laying out its proposals. According to BuzzFeed News, the white paper will propose a regulatory body similar to Ofcom, which regulates broadcasters and telecoms companies. The government told the BBC it would publish the white paper this winter. But a spokesman for the Department of Digital, Cultural, Media and Sports said it had nothing to share at this time. A cross-party committee investigating misinformation and fake news has already suggested areas for new legislation ahead of white paper. In July, it recommended reforming electoral law for the digital age, including clear rules and political advertising online, taxing social networks to pay for digital literacy programs in schools, greater transparency around online advertising. However, BuzzFeed said the government's proposals would go further. It said it had seen details of the white paper, which include forcing websites to remove illegal hate speech within a specific time period or face penalties. A similar law is in force in Germany. Making social networks verify the age of their users. Punishing social networks that failed to remove terror content or child abuse images. Okay, that one I kind of agree with the child abuse images.
Yeah.
And to some degree, terror content. Outside of news reporting and historical context.
Depends on...
Yeah. Restricting advertisements online for food and soft drink products that are high in salt, fat, or sugar. That one's retarded.
Yeah, I understand sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar's terrible for you.
It is.
Salt actually doesn't contribute to heart disease as much as they used to say it does. And fat is actually kind of healthy for you to intake.
It's good for you. It's a lot better than sugar. In fact, the whole reason most of America is getting fat, some studies suggest at least, is that when when the world went, or at least the U.S. went on its low fat to lose fat thing in order to prevent obesity, um, they they created low fat everything, but what low fat shit tastes like shit. So what do you add to it to make it taste good? Sugar.
Sugar.
And guess what? Diabetes shot up, obesity shot up, other such weight diseases shot up. Anyway, a spokesman for the DCMS said the report was speculation. In a statement to BuzzFeed, it said, "We are considering all options, including what legislation will be necessary and whether a regulator is needed."
So, there may be a Brexit, but this is just Article 13. It's being proposed specifically for the UK.
Yeah.
Plus some. Yeah. So, UK friends, I love you, but bye, I guess, if this goes through. Definitely put a lot of focus on this, guys, because they're just trying to have Article 13 without being part of the EU. That's an issue, for sure.
Yep. It's mildly absurd. I mean, some of this stuff I can kind of understand. Some of it is just absurd. Like, let's see. You want to go through this point by point real quick?
Yeah.
Reforming electoral law for the digital age, including clear rules about political advertising online. You know, that one
I'm okay with that.
don't necessarily disagree with. It really depends on enforcement, but...
And it depends on what the actual rules are going to be.
But I do agree that laws need to be brought up to date.
Like, I don't think political advertising should be targeted.
Well, the rules...
It should be broad, and the advertising should go out to everybody, and it shouldn't be specifically targeted.
Yeah, but either way, the rules should be, especially political advertising, should be made clearer. I mean, it should be across the board, but especially with political advertising, since that has been the biggest hotbed of speculation and issues as of late, at least in the U.S.
Yeah, I don't know what their laws are now, so or their rules are now. So.
Well, you've got Sargon's number. Call him up.
Just because I got Billy's number doesn't mean I have everybody else's too.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to give you shit.
Billy is buddies with Martin Shkreli. I wonder if I could get his number. Never mind. Bad joke? Okay. What's the second one? Taxing social networks to pay for digital literacy programs in schools.
I see the intent. I disagree with the implementation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, between the entire, I've noticed younger kids are actually a lot better with grammar than they used to be, and spelling. Part of that comes from constantly being yelled at by grammar Nazis. Or the fear of being yelled at by grammar Nazis. Greater transparency around online advertising.
So essentially, it's what the first one kind of alludes to, but being more general about it. Yeah, I get that.
Are they talking about, is this a targeted ad? Is this... I don't know what other Is it coming from a not-for-profit company? Is it coming from a for-profit company? Coming from charities? That's sort of what they're getting at? I have no idea.
Like, without more information, it's a little hard to discuss.
Yeah, yeah, I want greater transparency. I want to know if the ads were targeted towards me.
Yeah.
And why it was targeted towards me. That's the thing that I'm interested in about it as a consumer.
Yeah.
Forcing websites to remove illegal hate speech within a specific time period or face penalties.
Hate speech is free speech.
There's no such thing as hate speech.
I agree.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there
speech.
is. You could make an that one. You can make an argument that there is such thing as hate speech, but that's really getting into nuance more than anything.
Well, okay. There is speech that can be hateful, but I wouldn't classify it as hate speech the way that they would.
Well, that's effectively what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like the difference between a racist joke and a racial joke. Like, there's a lot of jokes based around race that aren't necessarily racist. They're just racial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know,
it just seems it's way too Big Brother, way too 1984.
Yeah.
Making social networks verify the age of their users. This one this one's sticky because how do you do that?
Send them your ID number. I don't like that because that pretty much eliminates like anonymity on the web.
Yeah, it eliminates privacy.
Yeah.
Like, forget anonymity. It eliminates privacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's giving up a lot more information than I would. Like, I have a Facebook, but I only have like 20 friends, and they're all just family and like old friends from high school that I want to keep in touch with. I don't spread that around at all.
Yeah, and I mean,
like,
the combination of these two, you're potentially looking at all the major social networks just being like, yeah, fuck this. You're not worth the money that will. We're gonna lose more money being here than we'll gain. Like, Germany doesn't have Facebook anymore because of their rule, or it's something along those lines.
Oh, I didn't know. I know. Like, Spain doesn't have Google News because of their. There's a thing in Article 11 where they would be charged for pretty much compiling the links to other news websites.
Actually, in Article 11, the amendment that came out did give concession to that.
Yes, but Germany and Spain already had laws like that.
Yeah.
And under Spain's law, Germany decided to give like a pass for like Google News. Spain said no. So now, all throughout Spain, you don't have access to the Google News tab.
That really sucks for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually, there's a lot of discussion going on in Spain about how much it's restricted their access to news and different news sources.
It doesn't surprise me none.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, so that's an issue.
Punishing social networks that failed to remove terror content or child abuse images. We briefly talked about that.
Yeah, depends on how you define terror content and the context of it.
Yeah.
Child abuse images, sure. if it's incorporated within like actual like news reporting, okay-ish. I'm fine with both of those being in actual news reporting overall. But other than news reporting, depends on how you define terror content and child abuse images. Totally, yeah. Go ahead. Remove
Oh
those.
yeah. The next, yeah. There's not much we disagree with on that one.
Daddy of 5. All right, and then the restricting advertisements. Yeah, we already talked about that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go a little more into that if you want. We only have about another 10 minutes.
Yeah. So salt and sodium is actually necessary for hydration. Fun fact: something that dries you out is actually necessary. And then, yeah, we already talked about the fat and sugar thing. I don't know how much more we should go into that.
Well, like there's stuff I could mention, but without going into it, um, I know someone, we'll say someone, who has lost nearly 21 pounds by actually cutting sugar out of the diet and eating high fat, which is quite different than what you'd expect. But
yeah.
that's because we've been told that fat is what makes you fat.
Oh, YTK and W, I'll give you sugar any time of the day, baby.
Don't
yeah,
ask for something that you don't want from him. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've learned that the hard way. He uses too much teeth.
Hey, my teeth are small. How could I use too much? Yeah,
Yeah, Merc, that makes a lot more sense. Mandating reporting to the authorities, but at the same time, there's certain things that you're gonna have to mark as or that you're gonna have to remove nonetheless. You can archive it, but you still have to remove it, like child pornography, for example.
Oh, friend, I will give Y2KW all my sugar. Fun fact, semen is mostly sugar.
You're a sugar addict, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
That explains why you're bi. Anywhere you can get sugar, huh?
Yep. Yeah. So Y2K and W, I'll give you all my sugar.
This got too real just now.
I disagree.
Yeah, just now? You mean just now?
Hey, no. Yes, Katzen. I know. I gotta roll with the punches.
Oh, that's good shit, Spect.
Yeah. Nice. Good job, bud.
Like, yeah. It's just an interesting factoid that you cut out sugar, you actually lose a lot more weight than if you cut out fat. Hell, this individual eats a lot more bacon than they used to. I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's someone I know. Well, I am saying it's someone I know.
Is it someone I know?
I'm not gonna say who it is. It's definitely
It's Rice Ray.
Yeah, it's Rice Ray. He's lost 20 pounds since cutting sugar out. I was able to convince him that it's a government conspiracy that sugar is actually what's causing all the health issues. I don't know.
it's what's keeping people from opening their minds to the flat Earth and all the other conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I haven't been to that server in a while.
Yeah, I got rid of that server because I really just don't go there, and it's more your thing. If you ever need backup, send me a link.
I will do. Will do. Yeah, I
Well,
got in trouble for sending links at one point.
why does that not surprise me?
Yeah. So then I just started referring people to his YouTube page. His YouTube page ended up getting flagged and taken down, which I do not agree with. But that was where people could find a link where I would be accused of spreading the link around. I was just sharing his YouTube channel. Yeah. I've been getting in trouble all over Discord with these people.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's you. You're shit disturb.
Yeah, I got accused of trying to manipulate somebody because I corrected their spelling on like a channel in their Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little far. I'll tell you who later. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yup.
And yeah, it's
Yup.
it's fucking. By the way, if anybody wants to hook up on some great Flat Earth Discord servers, let me know. I know some good ones where there are young Earth creationist flat earthers versus atheist old Earth flat earthers. It's fucking weird. But sure isn't a lot of fun to hear their arguments. I think I can legitimately argue the flat Earth at this point. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'll try that at the bar later.
Well, in order to argue against it, you have to be able to argue for it.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit that Owen Benjamin has, because his dad is a teacher of rhetoric, teaches how to argue and stuff like that. And his dad told him when he was a kid, if you can't argue the other side, then you have no right to that opinion. Which I slightly disagree with that statement, but not entirely. Because there's a lot of statements there's a lot of stances I've come to that I forgot all the old arguments. I just remember that I was totally convinced of it, and these are the arguments that I have now. And I forgot all the old arguments against it because there was like a linchpin or two that locked me into that position. Like Second Amendment, for example. The thing that keeps me pro Second Amendment time and time again is just the simple fact that the Second Amendment is there to give us the right to protect ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that I can't get past. So, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, let me put it to you this way. When I was on the Second Amendment using that same thing, sometimes it's just about the knowledge, because when I was growing up, I grew up in California. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. So, take a wild guess as to how anti-guns I was growing up.
Gay. Yeah. Extremely anti-gun.
Oh yeah. Like I went fly fishing at one point with my dad, a family friend, and his son. The family friend brought a pistol, And we were making jokes about it. I mean, I wasn't as anti-gun as most of the people around me. Keep that one in mind. But we were making jokes about, oh, if all, because we, little bit of backstory, we accidentally locked ourselves out of the truck, and my dad had to hitchhike back into town to get a tow truck to get us into the vehicle. But while we're sitting there, like, oh, too bad you don't have your pistol out here. We could have shot that deer that just walked by and cooked it for dinner. Stupid stuff like that. But then when it came to actually shooting it, I kind of sat there in the car, away from the firearm, while my dad, the family friend, and his son are shooting it at a hillside. Then I joined the military, and I learned about firearms. I learned a lot more about them. I learned about safety. I learned about all that fun stuff. I ended up being very interested in firearms. I don't know like a lot about individual firearms, but I know about how to shoot, and I know mainly about safety. And I actually took Miss Rimshee to the range recently. It was the 9th. I brought her to the range because it was my birthday weekend, and I said, this is what I want to do for my birthday. And she's like, fine. And after a little bit of arguing, because apparently she was mishearing what I was trying to tell her because it's a loud range. After all the arguing and it all got settled, she actually shot it and was doing pretty well. I posted a picture of the target she shot for her second string of shooting. Yeah, especially for someone who it was their first time out. But now she wants to go back. So
it's addicting.
Sometimes all you need is information.
Yeah, gun safety was a part of growing up where I was. Small little town. So everybody has guns. You just need to know gun safety. Whether you take an actual course or you just get the basics from like your parents and whatnot.
Yeah.
My parents had guns. I never saw them. I don't know if they still have them.
Your dad probably has firearms.
Oh, I know.
Still.
I know they have some sort of pistol and a shotgun because they told me about that. They might have more. Oh fuck no. That was a sneaky little kid. But like, no, but they run on the same thing that I do. It's like pistol is for your personal defense, and then shotgun is for your home defense. And I know how to clean and maintain mine. I don't know anything too specific about them. I know what ammo I need to buy, but
I know how to clean and maintain my firearms and my gun. But ultimately the point we were trying to get at being sometimes it just takes you informing someone of the truth over telling them what it is. Like, I mean, you can give them all the facts in the world, but if they can't get firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience, if they're not open to it, sometimes that's what it takes, them being open to it.
Yeah, there's actually a whole Steven Crowder, like him or not, he actually has a really great video where he was walking around asking a bunch of people if they would be willing to go to the gun range and see what it's like going through the whole process of buying a gun.
Yeah.
And these two girls that were friends, they were like, sure, yeah, we'll do it. We're open-minded to it. And they disagreed with the whole gun thing. They wanted more gun laws and stuff at the time. He took them to the gun range, showed them like all these varying different guns, how they work, taught them a bunch of gun safety, went through that whole process. Yeah. And after the whole process, he was like, he also added as part of the deal, if you want after the whole process, I'll buy you a gun. and we can go through that whole process.
Of course, it's him. When he says that, of course, he means he'll pay for it. They still have to go through the checks.
Yes, he will
otherwise,
pay for it.
Otherwise, that would be a straw man purchase, and that's illegal.
Yes. He's going to pay for it. That's what I meant. And so they went through the whole process. One of the girls wanted a nice little pistol to carry around, but she wasn't 21 yet. And in that state, you have to be 21 to have a pistol. So he was just like, when you turn 21, send me an email, give me a call. I'll purchase it. I'll pay for it for you. And the other girl also wanted a pistol. Well, no, the other girl didn't want one at all, I don't think.
No, she wasn't sure at the time. She wanted to think on it.
Yeah.
Which is respectful.
They
respectable.
went through the whole background check process, everything like that. They understood that it's actually a bit more difficult than, like, it's not that difficult to get a gun, but it's more difficult than what is being proposed depending on where you're at and what state you're in. Yeah. So
remember, all that are listening, we've got a town hall tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will, for the mods, be followed by the mod meeting. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, or suggestions, please feel free to show up and participate. If you don't have any of those, please do the same. Please show up anyway, because you might think of something in the course of something.
Yeah, you might have something to add. A little conversation.
It's as much for your benefit as it is for ours as mods.
Yep. You can follow Rimshee on Twitter at I don't know, because he hasn't given me his Twitter handle yet.
Oh no, I've told you my Twitter handle. I just don't ever use it.
Yeah, that's right. You can follow me on Twitter at JablesBoogly. It's down in the description. Be sure to check out the saves that are starting in about 25 minutes. Link is also in the description to the channel. Be sure to check out Locked and Loaded on Monday nights. That's Pavaros, Buck, and Smart Pig 2150. And
do you have a deal with them to promote them while they promote us? Also, real quick thing. If you're someone who prefers to type out your communications, you can still show up. The only thing we ask is that you pop into the Town Hall voice channel just so you can listen in. All communication from your part can be done via the text chat, which is included.
Yes.
And please show, if you can't make it, but you have something you want to comment, the Town Hall text is open for comments at the moment. It and the Town Hall voice are at the bottom of general chat.
And as always, feel free to message your mods if you have questions specifically that you want answered fairly quickly. And with that, we have been your Lesser Saints of Discord. On here every Friday at 5:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, getting used to the new times.
I have to babysit him.
Yeah, and everybody just have a good night. Go watch the Saints. Send them some Streamlabs. Go.
Woot!
Go. Bye.
Take care, everyone.